So this is the reaction video one post for the TED Talk um, on leadership. I mean, really, to me, like not much really sank in with me or resonated um, until the last few minutes when he was talking about self leadership. But he started off talking about the three things happen naturally in organizations: friction, confusion, and underperformance. Um, and he goes on to talk about the I guess it's the leadership problems equation, which is not having boils down to not having enough time um, dealing with people and power, and I guess that equals leadership problems. It didn't really sink in with me. I didn't really understand that too well, or I mean, it's not something that I related to. Um, he then went on to talk about self leadership, which is a concept that I can really buy into, and I really think this is a good um, concept, something to, I mean, not just better yourself as a leader, but as a person trying to improve upon like just certain skill sets. Um, Talks about self leadership as leading yourself before others. Um, he pulled up a quote that said 40% of your time should be spent on leading yourself before you spend the rest of your time um, leading others. I thought that was pretty interesting. Then he talks about the field of self leadership and kind of three different aspects that go along with that. The first one is self awareness. So the way I saw it was this essentially boiled down to the fact that feedback is hard to come across with people that you're working with and your followers. Um, you're the one writing the paycheck, so they're probably going to tell you that whatever you're doing is good, unless it's really not. Um, but for the most part, feedback is pretty difficult to achieve. So being able to look at yourself, and the way he put it was looking at, imagining the worst leader you've ever had before, like whether it's sports or teachers or anything, and the things that they did wrong or did that you didn't like, and then looking at what you do uh, maybe not so well, and then thinking about, like, I guess how you compare and how you can possibly like take different routes to improve upon like these skills that you may not be so proficient in. Um, the next sort of aspect of self leadership is self reflection. I find myself doing this a lot with baseball. Um, in games and practices. I mean, I throw a bullpen immediately afterwards. I'm thinking about what I did well and what I didn't do well, and how to work on it. And same for games. So, I mean, the way he words it is a 5 minute reflection. Um, this could be like I said, at the end of a work day, or you know, at the end of lunch, whatever. I don't know. Um, just kind of reflecting on maybe things that you did well that day or that week, and maybe things you didn't do so well, and maybe how you can um, improve upon them or continue to reinforce. Um, Again, I thought this was really insightful just because I feel like I already do this every day. So to know that doing this in other aspects of life, I mean, leadership is just one aspect. Um, you can do this with any type of skill, any job you get, and just continue to implement different um, ways to improve your skill sets. And then the third one that the third, I guess, field of self leadership is self regulation. And I kind of saw this one as um, it boiled down to checking yourself at the door and realizing that, like, people mess up and you can't get too upset or, um, you know, lash out at a situation that you might think is a big deal, but in reality is just something that happened. Um, and he worded this well with basically um, ranking, like being able to take a step back and saying, okay, scale of 1 to 10, how important is this issue to me right now and in the future? Like, is this going to have an effect on the future? And more times than not, it's going to rank like a 2 or a 3. Like, obviously, if it's like higher up on the scale, you're going to, take care of the issue quickly. But, like, more times than not, people are, hashing out issues that really aren't that, in the long run, really aren't that crucial to, some, they're really not that crucial to, like, achieving a goal or a company or, whatever. And this kind of idea of self-leadership, I think, is a great thing to, I guess, look at and digest, because, like, you have to be able to manage yourself in certain situations and, develop a certain skill set for yourself before you can go out and do that for other people. And I guess, to me, being able to be self-aware, reflect on yourself, and check yourself at the door, and kind of keep an even-keeled mindset is, it goes a long way for leaders, and really for anything you want to do. I think this is a great thing to better skill sets and mindsets, as well as becoming a better leader.